Hi, I'm Rebecca Fredericks and welcome to RebeccaFredericksTV, the place to be for your personal and professional success. Well, it's Monday, which means it's Monday tip time. And today I want to talk to you about how to be a better boss. Now, this is a topic I know lots of women struggle with, and I know that I have definitely struggled with it before in the past. Because being a good boss can be tricky. As a boss, you're often expected to play lots of different roles, and not all of them have anything to do with your job. Particularly as a woman, we're often expected to be a friend and a confidant, as well as a mentor, a guide, and a teacher. And sometimes the lines can get rather blurred. I remember a few years ago, I had set an employee of mine a project to do, and I soon discovered that she didn't have the experience or the know-how to do it properly. Now, the task was part of her job description, so I did have to allocate it to her, but she wasn't really up to it. And not only was she not really up to it, she was also going to have to present the project in front of me and 5 others at the end of the week. Now, I had shown her exactly what to do and how to do it, but she was still struggling. Now, at this time, she'd been with the company for a few months and we had become really good friends. And because we had become such good friends, and because I didn't want her to humiliate herself, and because however many different ways I'd showed her how to do it, she'd never quite got it, I resorted to just doing it myself and letting her present my work instead. Now, this was definitely not the thing to do. It used up my valuable time and made her feel useless and like a failure, and she just didn't learn anything. So after that, I spent a lot of time learning about being a good boss and going on courses and reading books about it. And today, I want to condense all of that information so that you can quickly and effectively become a better boss. So, here are my 5 top tips. 1. Set clear boundaries from the outset. If you're the type of boss that befriends the members of their team, then make sure that you set clear boundaries as soon as you hire them. Perhaps as part of orientation, you can sit them down and explain the situation to them. Let them know that you're likely to become great friends, and whilst you welcome that, you also need to respect each other's roles and, whilst in the work environment, behave accordingly. You may decide that personal chats need to be reserved for coffee breaks, lunch hours, and after work. You may decide that you can be friendly, but that you don't want to compromise your position by actually becoming friends. Whatever you decide, be clear about how you want to work with them. Explain that you have a role to fulfill, and so does he or she. And the first priority needs to be fulfilling that role. Communicate that this is how it works with all the team members so that they don't feel it's anything personal to do with them. 2. Motivate your team. A good boss does a good job, but a great boss is also a motivator. We know that the majority of our staff are there because they are what psychologists call extrinsically motivated to be there. This means that they're there because they are paid to be, and or they want the status and prestige the job gives them. In Daniel Pink's book Drive, he argues that there is no greater myth than the one that most managers believe, that financial compensation is a sufficient incentive to engage and retain top talent and drive high performance. So, even if you think you pay well and that your staff should be grateful to have such a wonderful job, you also need to motivate them to believe in what they're doing. Now, if the work is inherently dull, you may need to inspire this enjoyment. Motivate your team to want to do better, do more, try more, and take on ever greater challenges. Go for promotions and better themselves on every level. Find out about your team and what their respective goals are, and then motivate them to take action towards them. Guide and lead and show them the way. Be excited for them. Excitement is contagious. If you are motivated and excited daily by what you're doing, your team will follow you. 3, get better at communicating. However good you think you are at communicating, we all need to get better. Whether it's in the way you ask for help or the way you delegate tasks, present information, give instructions, or provide feedback. How we communicate can greatly affect our relationships with our team. When we communicate any message, we need to keep the intention of the message in mind. So if your intention is to get them to complete the project you have assigned them in less time, then being annoyed and frustrated and angry with them isn't the best way to communicate the message. You don't need to communicate verbally or non-verbally your emotions. You just need to communicate the message in the most effective way possible. So always make sure that you are in a positive or neutral state before talking to your team, and try and focus on the outcome you are wanting, using positives rather than the negatives of what they haven't done or what they've done badly. 4, be a leader. To be a truly great boss, one of those ones that people talk about for years to come, you need to be a leader. According to Seth Godin in his remarkable book, Tribes, leaders lead when they take positions, when they connect their tribes, and when they help the tribe to connect to itself. So lead your team in the direction of your goals. Tell them about the goal and why they should want to get there too, and then lead them from the front. Anyone can be a leader, so don't shirk away from the potential of leading your team to ever greater things, as individuals and as a member of your tribe. So take a position, provide a direction, and your team will follow. 5, ask for and give feedback. If you're new to being a boss, you may not inherently be good at giving feedback. As with everything, it's a skill that can be learned, and if no one has really taught you how to do it, you may not be as good at this as you could be. And speak to your team and ask them to give you honest feedback about how you're doing as their boss. Allow them the space to be honest with you. If they aren't open to this, you could put a box on your desk or outside your office and ask your team to give you suggestions and feedback as to how you're doing and what you could do better. And in turn, give each member of your team specific feedback about their performances. And when I say specific, I mean specific. Occasionally saying good job or well done is just not enough. Schedule a sit-down meeting with them every few months and talk to them in detail about how they're doing, what they're doing well and what not so well, what they could do to improve and how they can get closer to their own goals, whatever they may be. You want to be helping your team to achieve their goals and providing them with guidance as to how they can achieve them as quickly and easily as possible. And during any feedback that you give your team, remember to show your appreciation to them. One of the #1 reasons people leave their jobs is because they don't feel appreciated. So remember to value your team by showing them and telling them that you do, as well as asking for and giving specific feedback about their performance. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. In today's exercise, I want you to make a plan for how you are going to change your management style to be more in line with these tips. What are you going to do differently? What new practices are you going to implement? Make a plan for exactly what you're going to do and, starting from today, start doing it. Start asking for feedback, start appreciating your team, start being a real leader, start to motivate and inspire, and watch how well they respond. I guarantee that if you do all 5 of these things, you will transform your team and the work they produce as a result. And we would love to hear from you. Tell us how it goes. Which tip do you find the most impactful? And do you have any additional tips you can share with us to help us all to become better bosses? Now, if you want these 5 tips, today's exercises, and the other course materials for today's episode, then head over to the subscriptions part of the site and see which option is best for you. Here's your Monday tip, tweetable. Leaders lead when they take positions, when they connect their tribe, and when they help the tribe connect to itself. Seth Godin. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. And as always, remember that you are in control of your own life. If you want something to happen, then you have to go out there and make the changes. That's not to say that others can't support you and help you. That's why I'm here, and that's what your friends and family are for. But you have all the power that you will ever need inside yourself. So use it and create a life and a future that you love. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.